The Dead Speak, story about a powerful pickaxe. Adventure stories for kids. Written by Jeff Child. Narrated by John H. Feskins. Introduction. When Doug sees a shiny object in his yard and decides to dig it up, he is excited about his newfound gift, a golden pickaxe. But no matter how valuable a golden pickaxe appears to be, he notices that as soon as he possesses the object, he is getting weird and scary dreams. Each time he wakes up, however, he wonders if there is any significance to those dreams, and where the golden pickaxe actually came from. Listen more to learn what this thrilling story reveals about the origin of the golden pickaxe. Chapter 1. Doug the Digger. My name is Doug. Pretty ironic, because this diary is all about something I dug up. I was a construction worker. I lived in a decent-sized village with a lot of miners. There was a mine nearby, and I went to work every day. Since I was single, I was pretty content with my living circumstances, and didn't feel like I had to please anyone besides myself. But the sequence of events that happened sometime in July changed my perspective on life. Moreover, my little house became a symbol of everything that can go wrong in life. One day, I was on my way home when I saw my neighbor working in his yard. "Hi there, neighbor," I said. "What are you doing?" "My wife wants the weeds gone. It's a lot of work," he said. "What's the point?" I asked. "They will grow back anyway." "I know, that's what I keep telling her, but she didn't want to hear it. Instead, she handed me a shovel, a rake, and some other stuff. I've been digging for 2 hours. I am allowed back in to eat dinner when it's done." That just goes to show you who is wearing the pants in the family. Just wait until you are married, man. We'll see if you'll end up the same way." "Don't try to discourage me," I said. "I know marriage isn't everything, but I would love to start that happily ever after life someday." "Good luck to you. It's not for everyone. Some people die without that chance. I was just lucky." "I'm glad you see it that way. I have to go. Have fun in the yard." "Yeah, right. Depends on your definition of fun," he mumbled, but I had already gone inside. I put my miner's helmet on the table and sat down on the couch. When I put my feet up, my little wiener dog jumped on my lap. "Otto," I said, "I am glad to see you. I had a long day at work. The mines were full of minerals and valuable blocks, but now I can relax. How was your day?" "Woof, woof," Otto said. "Of course your day was good. You're a dog. You don't have to work," I said while laughing. I kicked back in my chair and poured some juice into a cup. I took a sip and said, "This is the good life." That's when I fell asleep. I don't know how long I slept, but it probably wasn't long because before I knew it, I heard Otto bark. "Woof, woof, woof." "Huh? What's going on?" I said. Otto was running back and forth as if he was trying to show me something. I followed him and ended up in the yard. When I came there, I found out what he was barking about. Chapter 2. Golden Pickaxe. In the corner of my yard there was a shiny object. It was partially covered by sand. I bent over to know what it was, but there was only a small part sticking out of the ground. "Time to get the shovel," I said. "Woof, woof," Otto agreed. I went to the shed behind my house and grabbed the shovel. I started digging like crazy because I was curious to see what it was. "Oof, I'm getting a little tired, Otto," I said. "I've already been working all day." Eventually, I made it through and pulled out the shiny object. "Wow," I exclaimed. "It's a golden pickaxe. Those are pretty expensive." This was excellent. I had been wanting one of these for a while, but I never put the money away to buy one. I went back inside and put it near the front door. Satisfied with life, I leaned back in my chair again and drank another sip of my juice. "Tomorrow," I said. The next day, I left my stone pickaxe at home and took my golden pickaxe. It was great. My coworkers, the other miners, gave me jealous looks. "Where did you get that?" one of them asked. "From my backyard," I said. "I was just there and I dug it up." "Ha! Dug it up. That's the pun of the day." "You know, one of those pickaxes recently disappeared in the village," one of the men said. "I didn't know that," I said. "What happened?" "Well, if we knew that, it wouldn't be gone anymore now, would it?" "I guess not," I said. "Hey, you're not implying that I stole this, are you?" "I'm not implying anything," my coworker said. "All I am saying is that this could be the same one. If you claim that you found it in your backyard, then who am I to judge you? The question you have to ask yourself is, how did it end up there?" "You're right. I don't know," I said. "But I'm not complaining. I like it." "Well, you've worked hard, Doug. You deserve it. Enjoy it. Perhaps we'll find out where it came from after all, huh?" "Yes, perhaps." It made me think, but I didn't have all the answers. How was I supposed to know? I just found it. When I went home that night, I was exhausted. The pickaxe was handy. It was easy to work with. But to get more done, I worked even harder than usual, so I was just as tired anyway. I did the same thing as the night before. I sat back on my chair, petted my dog Otto, and drank a sip from my juice. Then I fell asleep in my comfortable chair. Chapter 3: Dark Dream. I was in the back alleys of some giant metropolis. It was dark, and the streets were filled with an eerie fog, mixed together with the smell of wet dogs and sweat. I didn't know how I ended up there. It was a mystery to me. When I looked to the side, I knew where the odors were coming from. A homeless person with his dog was sleeping underneath a few blankets, and his bag of stuff was filled with food leftovers from the previous day. I reached over and put several coins in his hat, which was lying next to him, upside down on top of the dog. I looked the other way and saw a girl run at me. "Whoa, what's going on?" I asked her as she approached me. "Help! Help me!" she uttered. "I am being chased by an explosive monster!" I grabbed hold of her and made sure she didn't trip. Then I slowly helped her and sat her down next to the beggar, who had woken up by that time. He was rubbing his eyes and didn't think anything of the situation. The green monster was coming. I knew it. I felt it. But I was going to protect this girl from him. The monster came around the corner. Its silhouette was showing against the light. It had the shape of a monster, but it wasn't just any green monster. It had a red jacket. It made me laugh and shiver at the same time. My mind was going nuts. While the cells in my brain were aligning the information in front of me and asked the question why a monster would have a red jacket, half of my body became numb for a second or two, realizing that this monster could run to me and explode in our faces. And it came. The explosive monster ran at me. It ran faster and faster, so I ran towards it. Out of thin air, the golden pickaxe appeared in my hand. I held it firm with my steady grip, unaware of its origin. I ran at the monster and tried to kill it with my pickaxe. "Ready?" "Gah!" I yelled. I almost hit it, but the monster ducked and ran straight past me. I stopped. I turned around and saw the monster run at the girl. It was totally out to get her, not me. That's why it avoided me and went towards its target. The monster began to flicker. "No!" I exclaimed, but it was too late. The monster exploded. The beggar and the girl died. When I went towards the scene of death, her dead hand was holding a piece of red cloth she had ripped from the monster. I couldn't save her. "No!" I shouted again. Then I woke up. I panted heavily. It had all been a dream. I was relieved when reality dawned on me. Otto was looking at me with a surprised face. This dog obviously didn't understand what had happened in my mind while I was asleep. "It's okay, Otto," I said. "It was just a dream." Or was it? Chapter 4: Another dream. The next day, when I went to work, I felt a little drowsy. I wasn't too sure of what had happened to me, but it was like the dream of the previous night was cursing my perception of reality and was covering my eyes with a thick cloud of darkness. I didn't like it, to say the least. I kept digging with the golden pickaxe. Despite the lack of attention from my coworkers, it wasn't news anymore that I had one, and went straight home after work. I opened the door, greeted my dog, and ate some bread with butter and a little bowl of soup. I sat down and played with Otto for a few minutes until he climbed on my lap and fell asleep. I was next. I fell asleep as well. Another dream began. I found myself sitting on the steps of my back door that led into my backyard. I gazed into the distance and got up. Everything seemed calm until I heard a disturbing, spine-chilling sound in the distance. It came from the other side of the fence. I walked towards the fence and looked over it by pulling myself up a little. Bah! A dark shade was screaming in my face for a second, and then teleported to the other side of my yard within the fence. I was startled so much that I fell over. When I looked at it, it teleported again. Then I saw the golden pickaxe I had found earlier. It was stuck in the ground. I grabbed it and dashed at the dark shade. The dark shade teleported away and evaded my attack. Then it laughed with a laugh so evil that it made me tremble with fear. I looked at the pickaxe. It flew up in the air and turned into my direction. "What the?" I said, squinting my eyes to grasp the reality of what was happening. The pickaxe came at me. It was flying at me, trying to kill me. "Wah!" I screamed, and I tried to open the door to the house. Why was it locked? I didn't lock the door. Who locked the door? The dark shade? Where was the key? I have to get out of here. Let me in. Let me in. Open up, I yelled. I turned my head and saw the golden pickaxe come at me. This was it. It was going to kill me. Whoa, I said as I sat up. The environment had changed. I was in my room again. I looked at Otto, who was still sleeping on my lap. This, too, had been a dream, a nightmare in which I almost got killed by the very pickaxe I had found. Strange. Chapter 5. Nightmare. Another day, another expectation of dull routine at work. "Has anything happened at home lately?" someone asked me at work. "Not much. I've just been having strange dreams," I replied. I've had those too. It's the season. I hate autumn. Everybody gets colds, and it's that weird temperature when a transition between sunny and rainy weather takes place." "I know what you're talking about," I said. When he was gone, I added, "But that's probably not it. There is something else. Something fishy is going on here." I looked at the golden pickaxe I had brought to work and hid it into the rocks. It was almost as if some quaint power was emanating from this average-looking tool. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I knew something was wrong. Still, I continued to use it. That night, I went home and fell down on the couch, on purpose, of course, because I was just tired. Otto was in the kitchen. He was already sleeping, so I just closed my eyes and decided to space out for a while. But I fell asleep, and another nightmare occurred. I was in another part of our town. It was on the other side, where I usually didn't go, but I recognized it nonetheless. I was wandering through the streets, wondering what I was doing there in the first place. My first impulse was to go back home. I knew I had to get there before dark, because I didn't trust the streets in the evening, no matter how small our town was. Something was behind me. I didn't know what, but I was afraid to look. When I finally had the guts to turn my head, I saw a girl. But not just any girl. It was the girl I had met in the previous dream. "You're alive," I said. "You didn't get killed by the monster, did you?" She moved her head in an unnatural way, something that scared me. Then she put her hands forward and came at me. Huh? What? She was a zombie. I recognized the odd walking pattern, the moaning, and other signs. I knew she was a zombie, and she was chasing after me. "Stay away from me!" I yelled as I ran into the opposite direction. She was gaining on me, and I was getting lost in the village alleys. And then it happened. I tripped and fell flat on my face. Ouch! I rubbed the dirt off my face and looked up. The zombie girl came closer and closer. She bent over and attacked me. Then I woke up. "Phew," I said. "This is going too far. Where did all these nightmares come from? I mean, just a few seconds ago, I almost became zombie food." I looked around me as if I was trying to find the answer to my own question, and the answer was right there. The golden pickaxe. It was leaning against the wall in the corner of my living room. What does this pickaxe have to do with the girl I keep seeing? What are the monsters? And why is there always someone dying in these dreams? I was turning into a little dream detective, and to be honest, I kind of liked figuring out what was going on in my head. But again, I couldn't put my finger on it. It was like a big blur, an unsolved mystery. Would I ever find out how all these dreams were related? Perhaps I had to do something myself. Perhaps I needed to take action. Chapter 6. Action. The next day was a Saturday. I didn't have to go to work that day, so instead, I decided to go back to my backyard and dig some more. I didn't know what I was going to find, but I was determined to find some answers. I was sick of the nightmares, but I didn't just want to chuck the golden pickaxe into the trash. I had to get to the bottom of this. Literally. And the bottom of my yard was still far away, so without wasting time, I ate some breakfast and grabbed my shovel. Otto joined me outside, keeping me company in the process. It was hot that day, and the sweat was drenching my shirt, so I took it off. "Howdy, neighbor," the neighbor said as he looked over the fence and saw me dig. "What are you doing?" I looked at him with a sarcastic look on my face. "What does it look like? I am digging," I said. "I can see that, but why?" "To get a hole in my yard," I said. "Duh." "But what for? Are you going to build a pool or did you lose something?" "A pool," I lied. I wasn't going to explain my sudden urge to dig. He wouldn't understand, so he shrugged and left me. I dug and dug. I dug all day. Otto helped out a few times too, although he didn't get as far as I did. The neighbor came back in the evening. "Still digging?" he asked. "Why don't you take a break?" "I already have," I said. "I drank water about 10 times today. Why do you think I haven't passed out yet?" When I said it, I suddenly felt the sore muscles in my shoulders and arms. It was a lot of work, and the weird thing was that I didn't even know if I was going to find something. I just hoped for the best. "Well, don't get sloppy," the neighbor said. "Some of the sand got thrown into my yard. Please watch where you throw that stuff." I looked at him and said, "You know, there are other things I can do with this shovel too, like killing, breaking down someone's fence, smashing someone's windows, hitting the neighbor, and there are many other options." He became scared and decided to leave me alone. Exactly what I was aiming for. Good. A half hour later, I suddenly saw something. It was like hair or something. I kept digging around it and moved some of the sand with my hands. "Otto, come here," I said. "Woof, woof." Then I stepped back. "Whoa," I said. It was hair, but the worst of all was that it was an entire head. It was a dead corpse. "Ew," I said. "Where did this come from?" A little nervous, I kneeled in front of the head and dug out the rest of the body. And to my surprise, it was the girl I had seen in my dreams. One of her fists was clenched, as if she was holding on to something. I pulled the fingers back and was dumbfounded. "The red piece of cloth," I said in amazement. "Who would have thought?" Immediately, I asked my other neighbor, not the annoying one, to go get a police officer. Chapter 7. Dilemma solved. The next day, the crime was solved. The police officer had shown up at my house and had called over forensics teams and investigators to find out what had happened. I was being interrogated, of course, and I told them exactly what my experience was, how I found the pickaxe, the nightmares, and the digging until I found the dead girl. "Do you realize you solved our puzzle for us with your weird dreams?" Officer Daniel asked. "I don't understand," I said. "I told you everything. Why am I back here? I told you that I didn't know the girl and that I didn't do it." "That girl was attacked," he started. "Apparently a young man was trying to rob her. He had a golden pickaxe with him, something he had stolen that same day. But his greed didn't end, so he made an attempt to grab her bag and run off with it. When she resisted, he became extremely violent. Still, she held onto her bag and wouldn't let it go, so he used the pickaxe to kill her. According to his testimony, he buried the girl and the said object in your backyard. It was the closest thing to the crime scene that wasn't conspicuous, and you weren't home at the time. Nobody saw him, so he thought he had gotten away with it. And even if you or anyone would find the pickaxe, he never thought you would be crazy enough to dig so deeply." "I don't know what came over me," I said. "I just felt that there was more underneath the soil." "And there was. The girl was underneath a lot of sand, and it's a miracle you found her." "How did you catch the perpetrator?" I wanted to know. "Since nobody witnessed the crime, how did you find out who did it?" "Remember the red piece of cloth the girl was holding in her hand?" "Yes. What about it?" "It gave it away. Our research team consists of experts when it comes to tracing fingerprints, objects, hairs, or any other forensic signs of who did it." "So did you analyze the cloth and trace it back to the person who did it?" "That's what we did, yes. We interrogated a lot of people yesterday, and eventually it led us to him. One of the witnesses that helped us out was a beggar." "Really?" "Yes. The criminal's name is Albert, and he had the same red shirt the girl had ripped the piece from. At first he denied it, but when he discovered that we had enough evidence, he confessed to the whole thing." "What was the girl's name?" "Victoria. We feel sorry for her family. She had been missing for quite some time. But thanks to you, we were at least able to lock up the murderer. Thanks, Doug." "Wow. You're very welcome, Officer Daniel. I feel for the girl's family, too. Maybe I'll go visit them one of these days." "Good plan. Now please excuse me as I have more work to do." Officer Daniel left, and I was left alone with Otto. The reward for the golden pickaxe I had returned to them was lying on the table. Blood money. That was almost what it felt like. I had gained some finances, but I felt upset about this discovery. An innocent girl who had been killed. Who knew where this world was going to? "Come on, Otto," I said. "Let's give this money to Victoria's family. It's the least we can do." I put the bills into a bag, held the door open for my wiener dog, and closed it behind me. What a world. What a life. The end. This has been The Dead Speak, story about a powerful pickaxe, adventure stories for kids. Written by Jeff Child, narrated by John H. Feskins. Copyright 2017 by Jeff Child. Production copyright 2017 by Jeff Child.